Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the language we use to talk to ourselves or how we talk to ourselves. So, welcome if you are new here. My name is Diane Parham, and on Thursdays, we get together as a community and talk about all things mindset shift for us as women living in our midlife era. So, welcome. If you are new here, I always ask that you please take a second to hit that subscribe button. I also ask that you take that little extra effort and hit that like button if what we're talking about today is resonating with you. And then if you're joining us on Facebook, it is always best to follow any pages that you're following on Facebook, not just mine, so you'll be notified when we do upload things or schedule community conversations like this. And then if you don't mind over there, also that little thumbs up is always appreciated. So like I said, today we are going to be talking about the language we use to talk to ourselves and the words we use to talk to ourselves and how those can be the simplest little shifts that we can make in our mindset to take ourselves to the next level or maybe unblock something that we have going on in our life. Mindset is one thing that just fires me up. It is the foundation in which I have been coaching for the past 30 plus years, regardless of what genre we're coaching in. And I do believe that if you can change some of the thoughts in your own mind and create thoughts that you feel are going to serve you and get you what you really want, you can in fact have anything in this amazing world that we get to live in that you want. So we're going to work on a little bit of that today. I do recommend that on Thursdays, heck, I do recommend even on Mondays, that you guys bring some sort of notebook or note-taking thing for yourself so you can take some notes and really treat this time that we have together as if you are in a class. And then take what we talk about here and start implementing it throughout your life and see where it is you can affect some really simple changes that can make some really big moves for you. So I have some slides that we are going to use today. If I can get my mouse over there. Okay, so we're going to talk and I'm going to use some very specific language that I want you to make note of as well. Because when we think about the conversations we have in our head, or we think about thoughts, or we think about mindset, we're like, what the heck is that even, right? Like those are just some kind of like fancy words that we throw around. So what I'm going to do is break that down a little bit and then help us as a community really figure out how we can create some ways that we can stop ourselves in our tracks if some of the dialogues or some of the thoughts that are going in our brain or the conversations that we have with ourselves aren't working for us, and how it is we can stop those. So let's get started. So mantras are what I live by. We talk about them here a lot. We have shirts that we wear that are reminders of them. And I really do consider mantras the thoughts that we have going on in our head. And for a lot of us, they're on repeat, right? And so what I want us to understand is that mantras can be negative and or positive. So mantras are often thought of things that are just positive, right? But if you think about it, the little phrases and sentences that we have on repeat in our own brain are just mantras. Some of them are working for us and some of them aren't. So think about that. Like, what kind of phrases or sentences do you have going on in your mind that just fall there? A lot of times it's unconsciously. And how are those working for you? And why is it that those sentences are going on in your brain? And I think when we become really aware of that happening and we really realize that that's just the way our human brain is working and we can catch them and shift them, that's when we are in that power seat. And we always want to sit in the power seat here in this community. So mantras are just thought sentences that live in our minds. That's all they are. What I want us to think about is that, like I was just saying, these mantras or these sentences often just show up, right? They're the self-doubt, the negative self-talk, the self-sabotage when they're in the negative aspect of things. But what we have to remember is those are mantras too, right? Those are just mantras that aren't working so well for us. And so when we can identify those and we can get out of that quickly, then they're not as problematic for us. So it's the place that we go without really thinking on our own. It's our unconscious state of mind that is just planting these seeds and these thoughts and these mantras in our brain. And they're not really what we want to have going on as far as a conversation. So on the flip side of that, you can have positive mantras. Those are the ones that we create. So they're the more intentional thoughts that we purposely and consciously put into our brain or our thought sentences. So they're the thoughts that we choose to believe that serve what we say we really want. Now, I want you to think about that sentence right there because it's a couple of different things that we're putting together to really serve us. The thoughts we choose to believe that serve what we say we really want. And I want that last part to be the part that we're paying the most attention to, because there are a lot of women, especially, who are choosing to believe thoughts that are not serving them. So the positive mantras are the thoughts that we're choosing to believe that are going to serve us. So if the thoughts aren't serving you, those are usually the self-sabotage, self-doubt, like all of those kind of things. And those are the ones that we want to really catch and then reframe into something that's going to be more positive to us. So that really want part we talk about here all the time. What is it that you really want? And that's the kind of thought process and sentence forming you want to create in your own brain. So our thoughts then lead to how we feel. So if you have a negative mantra or a negative thought going through your head, that's when we usually feel defeated, unconfident. We feel like everything's, everything comes down on us. We don't get a chance. We're not capable. So the thought is where that feeling really generates. And so if you're not liking how you're feeling any given day or about a situation or what's going on in your life, you have to go back to where did that feeling start? And it's in your brain. It's the thought that's generated in your brain. And if the feeling you have is negative, that's coming from a negative thought or that negative mantra or the negative sentence that's going on in your brain. So if the thoughts about yourself are negative, you will in fact feel negative about yourself. Negative feelings will determine how you show up for yourself and decide your next move. So this is something we deal with here in this community a lot because we're dealing with menopause, we're dealing with weight gain, we're dealing with self-doubt, we're dealing with, usually negative body issues. And those thoughts that we have about ourselves lead to those feelings I just described. And then those feelings lead us into that unconscious state of making decisions that we tend to regret. Like, I stood in the pantry and I ate a whole bag of Cheetos, or I didn't, I didn't really want to have, 5 cocktails at the dinner party, but I did. And it's usually because we're feeling a certain way, and that takes us out of that conscious state where we would make a different decision. We would make that decision that's going to serve what we really want. But if we're not thinking that way, then we're not feeling that way. And when we don't feel that way, we don't show up that way. So again, if you're not liking some of the things that you are doing in your life, you have to reverse engineer how you got there. Why did I make this decision? How was I feeling when I was in that decision-making process? And what was going on in my brain that led me to that? Because the end result that we get in our life is just a series of negative or positive thoughts that lead to negative or positive feelings that lead to negative or positive reactions or responses or decision making. And then what we get in the end is the result of all of those things. The beautiful thing for us as human beings is that we have the power to control that. We have the power to control that. We just have to recognize that it's starting here. And if we don't like where we're starting from, we have to do the work to make that change. So I'll leave this up for just a second. Our thoughts determine how we feel. If your thoughts about yourself are negative, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I can't get it done, I always fail, then the feelings you have about yourself will mirror those thought sentences that are going on in your brain. Negative feelings will then determine how you show up for yourself. So an example of that would be, I can't finish anything, or I can't work out, or I can't feed myself well. I can't stick to anything that I say that I want to do. That will create that feeling of doubt and self-sabotage kind of feelings. And I might as well, you're going to get to that place where you're like, I might as well just give up anyway. So you have that feeling of defeat. And so these things just lead down this path of negativity. And that's when we find ourselves saying things like, my mother-in-law moved in. I feel really stressed out about it. So now I'm eating poorly. Or I got in a fight at work with my boss. I don't feel good about how that ended up. And so now I'm going to step away from fasting. Whatever it is that's going on in your life, I want you to see how you can kind of line things up and then connect the dots with what it is you kind of shock yourself into, going, how did this happen? How did I gain 30 pounds over the last couple of months? Well, it's the place that your brain was, right? And it's often the result of something that's going on in your life that you haven't have really created the skills yet or the thought process to get yourself out of it. So that's what we're going to be practicing here. Okay, so then how we allow ourselves to be talked to will show up in all areas of our life. So, girlfriend, if you're allowing yourself to talk to yourself in a negative way, you will let other people in your life talk to you in that same way. And that's just reinforcing for your brain these thoughts that you don't want to believe and you probably know are not true. But when you keep getting provided with this evidence, it's really hard to deny it, right? And so, what we have to do is start with ourselves. We are the only people that we can ultimately be responsible for with how it is we're going to speak in our own brain. We're the only ones that can allow those thoughts in, and we're the only ones that can change those thoughts. And we are also the only ones that can then affect how it is we are feeling about ourselves, our life, or even other people, right? And then that's going to determine how it is we show up. So if you notice that you're in a season of life where you're like, why is everybody treating me so bad? Why is it that I feel so negative about these relationships that I'm in? It goes back to how you're serving yourself first. This is why here we also have the mantra of, we're selfish first so that we can serve others with a full heart. So these are some of the mantras or the thought sentences that I run on repeat in my mind. We have some of these inside the intermittent fasting course as well. We do an entire exercise on this inside both the intermittent fasting course, and we talk about it all the time inside of our midlife mindset shift community. Hungry is where the magic happens. That whole thought right there, that whole sentence is just to get us to believe that when we are in that state of hungry, everything is going to be okay because we're providing our body the environment to heal itself. It's a shift in the way we think from, oh my gosh, my stomach just growled, I should probably go eat, right? We know that that hasn't served us, and that's not what we really want. So all that is just a positive mantra that's going to change where your thoughts are going to go so you feel really confident in your fasted state, which then is going to lead you to keep fasting. And the end result is all of the stories and testimonials we get back here from our community. So that's exactly how that process works. I am a conditioned athlete. That one little word, conditioned, changed everything for me in my 50s and how it is I show up for my fitness. I am a conditioned athlete lets my brain believe that I am ready and able to execute anything that I decide that I want to execute when it comes to my fitness. That is a mantra that I choose to believe so that I get what I really want. I am empowered in a state of hungry. That's another one of our super powerful mantras here that we have in our community, because so many women have been taught and conditioned to believe that when you are empty and you are hungry, everything's going to fall apart for you. Like you are not worthy. And what we believe here is when we are empty and we are hungry, that is when we are most empowered and we are most powerful. And that excites us about all of these things that we're doing in this healing environment for us as aging women, and how it is we're using this tool with intermittent fasting to fuel ourselves for better. My life works for me. That's just a simple change of one word. My life is happening to me, right? You think that everything is happening to you, but what if everything that you're experiencing in your life is happening for you, to teach you a lesson, to make you stronger, to make you believe in yourself, to get you to that next level? Whatever it is, it's just a thought that we're choosing to believe that everything in our life is happening for me. It's a favor. That is a very powerful, simple mantra that we can implement today. I am always selfish first so that I can serve others with my full heart. Again, this is one of those things for women that is really hard for us to grasp. Like, how can we be selfish when we have so many people we need to serve and we have so many things that we need to do? And so we end up putting ourselves on the back burner. What ends up happening is we get burnt out, we're exhausted, we get to a certain season of our life like menopause, and all these other things are happening to us, and we check out. What I really want you to believe, and my gift to you, is that one mantra. I am selfish first, and I am always selfish first, so that when I need to show up for others, whether that be parents that are moving in that are elderly and sick that you need to take care of, or maybe one of your children needs you, or your husband needs you, or something that you're doing in your life you need to show up for, you are already satisfied and you are already full because you took care of you first. Very, very powerful mantra. The universe works in my favor. I am enough. When in doubt, fast it out. The mantra that I always wear, because we know food is everywhere. And if we believe that when there is a situation that I'm wondering if I should eat or not, I always have the power and the opportunity, and I'm giving myself permission to fast it out, because when in doubt, fasting is always going to be the thing that's serving me best. This is why we wear our mantras here in this community, as a way to keep our brain always in focus of what it is we say that we really want. I deserve the best I have to offer, meaning you're going to get the best of you, again, so that you can then serve others well. I can do hard things, and I give myself permission without punishment, and that should be it, ... That is one of those mantras that we use inside the Midlife Mindset Shift group coaching community. Also, when is the last time you gave yourself permission to do something without then punishing yourself? Whether that's eat the cake at your son's wedding, give yourself a day off from a workout, sleep in, stay up late, fast, say no thank you to someone. When is the last time you wholeheartedly gave yourself permission to make a decision for yourself, and then did not punish yourself after the fact that you made that decision? That's a very, very powerful mantra and a very powerful thought to carry around in our brain, so that we then don't do ourselves damage, right? Or negative self-talk to ourselves after we've clearly, with a sound mind and body, gave ourselves permission to do the thing. That is a very, very powerful mindset shift and a very powerful mantra that we use here in our community. Okay, so I'll leave those up there for you. This is one of those things. Take a screenshot of it. Use these. I use these every single day. I use them throughout my day. These are the beliefs or the thought sentences that I choose to believe, so that I can show up for myself every single day, looking and feeling my best and living my most authentic life. And when a thought enters my brain that I'm not happy with, or that is negative, or is not going to serve a bigger purpose for me, I simply replace it with one that will. That's all we have to do. You don't have to go into any 12-step programs. You don't have to go to counseling. You don't have to go to therapy. You just choose to change your thought sentence, and it will change how you feel, and that will change how you show up. One of the most amazing and beautiful things that I get to witness as a coach for so many women is when I do this work with women, and we do these mantra shifts or these thought sentence shifts, and then and we realize how simple it is and how common sense it is to just think something positive. The women that I'm, or the woman, I guess, in this instance that I coach, everything about her demeanor changes. Oftentimes, and you can tune into this as you're practicing this, when we're in a negative thought space, or we have these negative mantras or sentences going through our mind, we often mimic that thought, because remember, that creates a feeling, and we tend to cave in and become small, and we don't make eye contact, and we look down. The other thing that I notice as a coach is when women are in a negative space, they retreat. They pull out of community conversations. They stop showing up in class. They don't show up for their coaching calls, and they pull away. When you're in a positive mindset, or you're believing positive mantras, your body language also becomes very positive, and you go from this feeling defeated to feeling this, which is empowered. You open yourself up for the amazing possibilities. You pull your shoulders down and back, your head lifts up, you make contact with a human being, right? Or maybe even yourself if you practice this in the mirror, which I highly recommend. And then you start showing up for yourself, because remember, our thoughts lead to feelings, and our feelings lead to actions. if you want to show up, you've got to check in with how you're feeling. And then also remember, not showing up, not serving yourself is also an action. And you have to make sure that that action is going to lead to the result that you want. This is super fascinating work to do. It is really fun work to do. And I want you to notice how your energy changes, how your body posture changes, how you open yourself up to the world and the possibilities that are sitting right in front of you if you simply talk to yourself in a different way, choose positive words, and then believe the mantras that you're telling yourself, because they're the ones that are going to serve you the best. Okay, let's see who's here today. I could talk about this all day long. This work is absolutely amazing. I have been practicing it pretty much my whole life. These mantra shifts, shifting your brain from negative to positive, creating new mind maps for yourself. I have been doing this since I was in high school. Y'all, I have survived some pretty amazing things in my life. I've experienced some pretty amazing things. And I believe that the mantras and the thoughts that I choose to believe about myself and my life have positioned me into where I am today. And if I didn't have this in my toolkit and I didn't practice this and I didn't believe this, I don't believe that I would be sitting here having this opportunity to not only talk to you, but to coach so many women and help them as well. So it is powerful stuff. Don't take it lightly. And use it every single opportunity you can. Charmin, good morning from Colorado. Thank you for teaching and your teaching and encouragement. Girlfriend, you are so welcome. Thanks for sitting here and hanging out with me. I absolutely love it. And I love all the great things that you're doing for yourself. Nancy, well, it is fall like today and beautiful outside. Did 5.5 miles. Good for you, girlfriend. Every day I thank you, Diane, for what she taught me and loved this way of life. It's easy, it's successful, and it's magic. It is magic. Just keep telling yourself all those positive thoughts and sentences, my friend. It is magic if you choose to believe it is magic, for sure. And you're crushing those runs for sure. What did I do today? I did like a 20-minute run walk. I did a 10-minute run, and then I did some strength training today. That was absolutely amazing. So I'm feeling the feels that you're feeling, my friend, and I love it. Okay, here's the information to jump into the intermittent fasting course. Remember, if you're thinking about jumping into the intermittent fasting course, I gotta keep reminding you guys, it is not a nutrition-based course. I'm not going to tell you to eat kale salad every day. I'm not going to tell you to eat meat if you're a vegan. I'm not going to tell you that you have to give stuff up that you love. I'm going to help you think differently about how it is you are showing up for yourself in your life. We do all kinds of lessons on thought work. We do all kinds of lessons on creating positive statements for ourselves. So what's going to happen for you as a student in class is you're going to make mindset shifts about how it is you're showing up for yourself, and you're going to catch yourself in some ways that aren't serving you. So that's the purpose of the intermittent fasting course. I'd love to have you in if you haven't been in yet. Anna, I want to be healthy. I want to be slim. I want to feel great. Thanks for the reminder. You are welcome, my friend. You know what I would say is, those are all the statements. Like anytime I have wanted to make some really big changes in my life, those statements, Anna, that you wrote right there, I put them everywhere. Put them in the area that you get ready in the morning. Put them in your planner. Put them as a reminder on your phone. So every day at 2:00, your phone sends you a reminder that you are healthy and you are slim and you feel great, and that you are totally in the position to make the decisions to make that happen for yourself. Like, remind yourself every single day of those things that you want, because then when life throws you a curveball, Anna, you're going to be like, no. I am healthy. I am slim. I feel great. I know how to make informed decisions for myself. And you're not going to let life deter your thought process. So if you keep telling yourself every single day, in the mindset shift course, we do an I am exercise where I actually have you make I am cards and touch them and like hold them and every day recite them to yourself, to just keep, it's almost like you have to memorize them, right? Because life's going to always want to pull us in the negative. So girlfriend, you keep thinking those things and then you keep us posted on how it's going for you. Aliga, hi everyone. Love you. Diane, great conversation. Well, girlfriend, we love you back. And is that a race start right there that you're standing in? Girl, you're my kind of girl. I love it. Are you a runner? Looks like you might be a runner or some sort of event participant. I love it. Angela, aka Silky, January 23 grad, mostly 24, OMAD 1 day a week, 75 pounds down. Girl, I feel like that number keeps growing every time you come in here and check in on us. Struggled with self-sabotage and doubt and had to get control and tell myself, hey, you deserve to thrive and enjoy the rest of your life. And girlfriend, you do. We all do, right? And you really have to believe that, because when you believe something, you will act that out. And so I am so excited for you. And girl, you've already done some pretty amazing things. Like, you just absolutely impressed the socks off of me and everything that you've been able to do for yourself and all the things that you've been able to overcome. So you keep crushing it. Diane, how can I change my thoughts when a cancer diagnosis with a family member is so overwhelming feeling? Well, you have to think about what are the thoughts, right? And then you have to think, what are you in control of and what are you not in control of? Though, like, because there are certain things with cancer diagnoses, I don't know the details of this, but there's certain things you can control and there's certain things that you can't control. And then also you have to remember, like, of course you're affected emotionally because you have a family member that is suffering, right? But the only thing that you can really do for someone who is in this type of situation is be there to love and support them. And this is the selfish part. You have to be so selfish about caring for you that when you go to care for them, you can show up as your best self. But if you are showing up for them broken and beaten and sad and discouraged and sabotaging yourself because you're stressed out about them, that's not very fair to them. So what I would recommend doing is make a list of all the things that you can do to take care of you first, so that when you are there to support them, whether it's from a distance or it's up close, whatever your thoughts, the universe that you're sending them, things to support them, it's from a full heart. You cannot help people. You cannot love people. You cannot support people if you're doing it from a heart that is beat down and broken and exhausted. So, girlfriend, take care of you first. Take care of you first, because you have to be healthy and stable and strong to be there for them. And then what they're going through is in the hands of doctors, and it's in their hands, and they're going to do the best that they can for that person. So the only thing that you can do is serve you so you can serve them. And I hope that helps. Angela, I love your mantras. I tell everyone, when in doubt, fast it out. Ladies, jump into the class. This info saved my life. My son is down 60 pounds. Just by following along, hit the like button. Girl, I swear you are just absolutely amazing. What a great gift you gave your son. And you probably did that like kind of unintentionally, right? But I'm sure he saw you. Not only did you lose weight, but you healed yourself from a car accident. Like, that's just absolutely amazing. And so why wouldn't he follow you, right? You've set a great example. And this is what we talk about here a lot also. Like, we as women, when we set the example for being selfish, taking care of ourselves, positive self-talk, and here's the deal. We do our best, because I got to tell you, I have to do this work. Like, I have to wear mantras. I have to do these practicing self-care. I have to be selfish. I have to remind my brain all the time, because I tend to just fall into that negative trap all the time. I have to catch myself. So when you're setting that example of just catching yourself, you don't have to be perfect, but like, you can turn and spin the dialogue around, or turn and spin a situation around, and everybody wants to play a part of that. So girlfriend, that's exactly what you're doing. And I'm very proud of you, and I'm very proud of your son. Bree, to make a decision is very powerful indeed. I had the feeling that eating for me was not a conscious decision anymore, but it just happened. It was an automatic response to everything negative. Yeah, Bree, that's why intermittent fasting, I like to teach it from the mindset approach and not the nutritional meal plan approach, because when we just simply remove the problem, and we remove the crutch, and we remove like a little bit of that addictive nature, then we're free to just move about our life, right? And we get to do nothing, which is also very satisfying and very needed for a lot of us, to just have the permission without punishment to do nothing for 20 hours. And when you find that muscle in that, and you've built that foundation, you're unstoppable. And so I'm glad that you caught that in yourself. And now, when in doubt, fast it out, right? If you're feeling stressed, fast. If you're feeling unsure about something, fast. If you're feeling like you have a really busy day, fast. Like, just fast and everything will be okay. And you won't create a bunch of new problems by unconsciously just eating because you're feeling a certain way. Charmin, so much wisdom. I appreciate you. Thank you, my friend. Suda, it's the best topic. I believe it, and started a class 10 years class called Ultimate Optimist. Yeah. Optimism, right, is something that I think we don't give enough time and attention to. Natalie, thanks for the reminder to be there for ourselves. Oh, I found your mineral water at HEB here in Houston, Texas. I like the taste. Yeah, is it this one? This one or the orange one? The orange one's flat. I'm a carbonation girl. I just love me some carbonation. So I tend to gravitate toward the blue one right here, but the orange one's also awesome. So I'm glad you found it. Yeah, HEB is great. Angela, congratulations. Yeah, Angela, y'all. So just so you guys know also, especially my community regulars, I'm going to be taking a week off of social media. I'm going to come back at the beginning of October. I'll have to look at the calendar, end of September, beginning of October, taking just a little mental break. And I've got a bunch of behind the scenes work that I have to do. And one of the things I'm really wanting to do, and I just haven't had the bandwidth to do it or the time and energy to do it, is start a podcast where I interview women in our community who have done and are doing amazing things for themselves, their family. Maybe it's something they're doing in their community, or maybe they're just something they're doing in their job, and featuring their stories here. So we'll do it in like an interview type of format where hopefully, everyone will be up to doing a video so we can see your beautiful faces, and then really featuring some of the amazing transformations women have had even outside of weight loss, right? Because when we clear our mind and we are positive about ourselves and we're feeling optimistic about our futures, like we believe we can accomplish anything. And I know for so many of us, usually starting around our 50s, so many of us, our kids are grown and they're moving out and we're empty nesters. And for me, like it was a huge identity crisis of losing mommy mode. What do I do with myself? And so leaning into even a new career or a new hobby or whatever, we have great stories to tell. And I think the world needs to hear us. And so I'm working on that behind the scenes. And I would love, if you're interested, I'll probably be sending an email out or I'll ask you guys here. Reach out to me and let me know that you would be interested. We have amazing women in our community and I would love to feature you. So that's coming. Glass slippers. Well, that sounds like a great name. Diane, ever since I gained all this weight, I feel like an underdog amongst my family and friends. I'm bigger than anyone and I hate it. But I also feel like I've fallen into an acceptance mode. Okay, so here's where you have to ask yourself, how's that working for you? That acceptance mode. Like, do you want to accept being an underdog? Or do you want to be a power player? Like, I would rather be a power player. And then you just got to figure out, like, what do you need to do to change your positioning? Well, first you have to really believe that you have everything in you right now to change your position. You have everything right now to change those thoughts. You have everything in you right now to lose that weight. If carrying that weight is having you feel that way, you have everything in you right now to do that. Why aren't you doing it? Right? You have to make those decisions for yourself. I invite women every single time I show up in social media, on emails. I'm like almost begging you, just come into class. In 21 days, everything for you is going to change. Just come into class. So glass slippers, come into class with us. I will take really good care of you. In 21 days, you're going to have a significant shift in how you feel about yourself. You're going to have a significant shift in what you're thinking and your possibilities. You'll have a significant shift in what's going on with your body because that's how the class is designed. One of my girlfriends just finished class. She's lost 17 pounds. Since she went in, she started class, I think, in the beginning of August. She's like, Dan, I want to lose 20 pounds. I'm like, get into class. She lost 17 pounds. 17 pounds. Like, it's a start, right? And you'll have this belief system because remember, those thoughts that you're thinking right now are causing you to feel a certain way. And I'm sure the energy that you have because of those feelings is not great. Then when you shift that feeling and you get that energy and you open yourself up and you have this belief system, girlfriend, you are going to be unstoppable and your family's going to look at you and go, how do we do that? How do we show up like you? You have the power to shift that, but you have to do something. You have to do something. And if the only thing that you do today is change those sentences you have going on in your brain and create ones that are going to serve what it is you say that you want. Do that. See how you feel. But you have to say things that you're actually going to be able to believe. So if you say it, believe it, and make sure that what you're saying is going to serve what it is you really want. And then if you need help and you need support and you need a community, you got to get into class. There's something magical that happens when you register for class. You get off the fence, which is a miserable middle place to live, right? You're going to get in and you're going to own your decision. You're going to trust that it's possible for you. So get yourself into class. 21 days. By the end of October, everything for you is going to be different. Okay. Elijah, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Elijah? Okay, maybe with a G. Thank you, Diane, so much. It was exactly what I needed to hear. Love what you just said about the podcast when I listened to you Monday. I thought about the podcast when I listened to you on Monday. Yeah, I'm really excited to do it. It's just everything with social media is just this logistical thing. And so it's just one of those things that over this next week, I'm just going to put my head down. You won't see me on social media for a week. If you haven't ever done that for yourself, it's a really good gift. Just shut it all down for like a week and take a break and just let your brain like run on its own. It's fascinating. So I'm going to do that for the next week and then come back with some really good stuff for you guys for sure. Glass slippers. I am extending a white glove invitation to you to get into class. 21 days. Here's the dealio. If you register today, you start today. I give you a journal and a guide. There's women who just started class just like you. You're going to have a feasting guide and you're going to get love and support from me while you're in class. So come into class. Angela, I would love to be interviewed. Your class saved and changed my life. I feel unstoppable and it's awesome and it's positive. And it's positivity, and the positivity is contagious. It is. When you feel good, and it starts from the inside because you created that feeling, it is unstoppable. It is unstoppable. And so I always come back to these good feelings. And these mindset shift conversations we're having on Thursdays, y'all, selfishly, they're for me too, right? Like I have to prepare for them. I have to get in my headspace. I have to believe what it is that I'm sharing with you. Otherwise I couldn't do it. And it really helps me as well. So you guys being here with me is something that I really appreciate as well. Natalie, my daughter-in-law said she's doing like me, meaning fasting for 20 hours. I told her it's more to it than just fasting. She needs to take the class. Yes, she does. And the cool thing about when our young women do it, and we model it for our kids. My son fasts 20 something hours a day too. I think he loves it. He used it through college and his mind space, he said, was just amazing. My daughter flips in and out of it. But she can't do it while she's running like 40 miles a week or something like that with cross country. So she needs her calories. But they're not afraid to go without food. They have very healthy relationships with food and they have very healthy body images, which I love for them. I hope they don't have to go through any of the things that I went through as a young woman. And I think it's probably just a generational thing, but, and I think it is just that thing that my husband and I just model really healthy relationships with food. And one of the best gifts that I gave myself before my daughter got into high school, I think it was probably elementary school when I started fasting, was I stopped forcing her to eat breakfast, right? Like she was running out of the door in the morning, crying. She wasn't hungry. And I'm like, you have to eat, you have to eat, you have to eat. And when I realized like, no, she doesn't have to eat, like she's not hungry. And we just stopped that whole practice. Man, our mornings were great. She ended up thriving, so it is that thing where I think creating this almost intuitive way for our young kids to see us eating and teaching them the same way is really powerful. And hopefully it'll change the future for so many generations of women. Nancy, glass slippers, do it. Jump into class. Once I put into practice and just did it and fasting and play with my feasting, it just comes up as natural, like you've always done it. Yeah. because I think we're designed to live this way. And I think the way that we've been conditioned to believe we're supposed to live, it goes against our natural tendencies. And so we're always forcing ourselves to eat when we don't really need to eat. And less is more sometimes. I'm always very honest with you guys. I'm doing a lot of running right now and a lot of strength training. And so I have shifted my fasting and feasting to accommodate that, because I just can't run on empty. Like, I want to be fueled and I want to make sure that my body has everything that it needs. And so I've changed some things. But if I wasn't running so hard and I wasn't working out so hard, I'd be right back to my 24 for sure. And we play with things. So when in doubt, fast it out is what we're experiencing today. This week is homecoming week for my daughter. And so she's busy almost every night of the week. So we're eating in the morning and we're skipping dinner at night. And it's fun. Sometimes you can just play around with it too, which is super cool. So makes life easy and it's always fun, but you have to build that confident foundation first. Okay. That's all I have for you today. You guys, I love you. I love that you're showing up on Thursdays. Hopefully you took some good notes. What I'll probably do is post these slides in our community on Facebook, and I'll post it as a post on YouTube. So you guys can go back and look at these and reference them if you want to. So look for that post coming up. If it's not today, because I'm supposed to be off social media, it'll be next week for sure. And then if you're on my email list, please make sure you check your emails this week. I'm going to be personally white glove inviting you. I think that's the saying, right? White glove invitation to come join us for class. I really want you guys to get into class before the holiday season really kicks in for you, so that you have this confidence and you have this firm foundation and you have a win before you go into the holiday season. Because I know a lot of people really are already stressing out about holidays and family and what to eat and what to do and all the things. And they're worried about gaining weight again this holiday season. We don't gain weight here. Our graduates just don't gain weight here. So if you're worried about that, get into class too. MAP. Need to watch from the beginning, missed the notification. Oh, girlfriend, I'm so sorry. Noon, always, except next week. Next week I'm taking off. We'll post reminders in the community group, so hopefully you'll get that notification. But noon Central Standard Time, Mondays and Thursdays. Maybe you need to put a backup alarm on your clock, on your watch or your phone or something like that, so you don't miss us. But glad you were able to pop in and say hi. I will see you guys in a week. So no Monday, no Thursday next week. I'll see you the week after that. We'll start on Monday. I love you guys. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you soon.